What's up everybody, Kinetic here and welcome back to Diablo 3 Reaper of Souls. In today's video I've got 10 tips for you for patch 2.3 and speed leveling in Season 4. This is split between those two things. 5 of these tips are simply for patch 2.3 and how to get you started with the new changes and the new features, and 5 of those tips are for leveling faster in Season 4. Now Season 4 again isn't starting until the 28th, so I'm just going to kind of emulate a little bit here. First of all, what you would kind of do, I think, for speed leveling and what you would do in the upcoming season. So create a character. I like to play hardcore when it comes to seasons because it just makes it more fun and more exciting for me. So pick whatever class you feel like playing. This time I'm going to go with a Demon Hunter. Now keep in mind, right, if you are still new to Diablo as a whole, I don't recommend that you play seasons. Seasons, while not defined in such a way, I think seasons are for players that have been playing Diablo 3 for quite some time and want a fresh new experience. But Season 4 characters, or season characters in general, are in their own instance, which is all new and all new players playing new characters and stuff like that. If you make a character, for example, over there, and your friends are not playing season, then you won't be able to play together with them. So keep that in mind. Again, if you're still fresh to Diablo, I recommend not playing seasons. Alright, I need a Demon Hunter name. What the hell? What should I call him? How about, Legolasshole. There we go. That works. Create hero. Ah, that's bullshit. What if I take the H out? How about that? Does that work? It does. I'm sorry, Blizz. I hope I'm not breaking terms of service here. It's a legitimate name, I swear. I swear. Except... Okay, so the first thing that you should definitely consider once you are creating your character is go to the game settings, right? And this is assuming that you have adventure mode available to you. We are definitely going to use adventure mode for our leveling purposes. If you don't have access for whatever reason to adventure mode and you only have the campaign, then that's what you're going to have to do, is go through the campaign until you unlock the adventure mode, which I believe comes when either or both you get to level 60 or you complete the campaign. I can't remember exactly which one it is. I hope somebody could clarify that for us. But anyway, you want to be in adventure mode, and what you want to do is you want to be on hard difficulty. The reason for this is because hard is very close to the actual difficulty of normal without going as high as expert, and for the whole duration of your leveling, you want to actually stay in hard difficulty because clearing speed is more important than the actual benefits of what we're getting here. So why not go with normal then? Well, because there is an XP bonus for hard compared to normal, which there is none. So we want that XP bonus. Again, it's not that much harder than normal, but we get a really nice bonus. So make sure that you're playing on hard throughout the whole leveling process until you get to level 70. It will feel stupid easy probably at some point, but unless you can, alright, let's just say, for example, you can clear, let's say, Master as fast as you can clear hard, then fine, go ahead and do Master. But avoid trying to push up to Expert. It's really not worth the extra resistance just for that 25%. So either go hard, or if for some reason you've got amazing legendaries, then I suppose go with Master. But for the most part, general rule of thumb, you want to stick with hard. Alright guys, so we are in adventure mode on hard difficulty. That was actually tip number 1 for this video, and speed leveling for the upcoming season is to play in adventure mode and play on hard for your new character. Tip number 2, before we get into that, I actually want to talk about the differences between playing in groups and playing in solo for your leveling. Overall, there are more benefits to playing as a group rather than playing solo. There are the multipliers for playing in multiplayer, for example, for XP and drops and stuff like that. You really want to try and play in multiplayer if you can. I know some people are against this, they like to go solo and stuff like that, but try especially if you have some friends, right? It's so much easier to do this with friends. If you have some friends, even just one other guy, right? Say, hey man, you want to play Season 4, you know, coming up this August 28th, and if he says yes, then go ahead and see if you can't, you know, pick a day that the two of you or whatever can go ahead and start leveling together in the adventure mode on hard and with the two of you, because you'll get so much more benefit out of that. And also, one other thing, if either one of you or both of you, whatever, is wearing, for example, some kind of XP multiplier gear on your characters, that is shared party-wide. Whoever is wearing some kind of XP bonus gear or anything like that, it's going to be shared with all the other players in the party. So that's another little extra tip there. If you are wearing XP bonus gear and you want to be wearing some kind of XP bonus gear, do so, and it will also benefit your mates as well. Okay, so tip number 2 actually though is going to be the method. What are you actually going to do in adventure mode on hard? We are going to do riffs. The reason for this is because before, in previous seasons, it was more efficient to do bounties to get your XP than it was to do riffs because you needed keys. However, in patch 2.3, we no longer need keys in order to open up these riffs. We can go ahead and start doing riffs right now from level 1. So it's fast, it's easy. There's also some other advantages for drops and things like that to doing riffs, I think. If you get bored of doing repeated riffs again and again, then go ahead and start doing some bounties. You want to, hopefully you're in a group, you want to split up those bounties. One guy goes to one location, another guy goes to another, and stuff like that. Again, if you don't have access to adventure mode, you would be going through campaign, but it's not that bad. Campaign is pretty much a breeze to go through, especially if you're sticking with hard difficulty. Alright, so that's 2 tips out of the way. Again, real quick, tip number 1 was do adventure mode and play on hard difficulty. Tip number 2, play in group and run riffs, or bounties if you get bored of repeated riffs after a time. Tip number 3 is going to be check your followers, and whatever class you are playing, you actually probably want to take, this is kind of cruel, but you probably want to take your followers' weapons. Since I'm playing as Legolasshole, I'm going to go to my Scoundrel, check his inventory, and check this out. He's got a 6.3, I've only got a 3.0. I'm taking that. I'm sorry, Lyndon, but I am taking your bow, brother. And you are coming with me. It's good to fight with you again. Because you still got a weapon. Of course, that would be if I'm soloing, right? We want to aim for going in group play. Alright, so there you go. Tip number 3, take your follower's weapon and make it up to him later, or make it up to her later, depending on your class, of course. And yeah, this is going to help you out a lot. You want to be trying to, for your stats in general, while you're leveling, your main stat, which is either strength, dexterity, or intelligence based on your class, right, is the most important thing. You want damage. Damage and more damage. Vitality is okay, but again, since we are burning through the adventure mode as a whole through the leveling on only hard difficulty, this is what you want to do, is go ahead and keep pushing for as much damage as you possibly can. Alright, tip number 4 for speed leveling is use rubies. Rubies are, going back to what I was just mentioning about increasing your damage, rubies will be going into your weapon when you have a socket in your weapon. Currently I don't, but you want to keep an eye out definitely for any weapons, and maybe even make an effort to try and get a socket, if you can, into a weapon, so that way you can get in a ruby of any kind, whatever it is. And really, this is the only gem that you should be concerned about upgrading for the most part while you are leveling, is just make sure that you've got a ruby. The reason why we're going with rubies is because the emeralds are good for crit hit damage, right? But that's only going to count if you have crit hit chance, and since we are fresh tune, then we probably don't have a lot of crit hit chance, and therefore we're not going to get a lot of bonus, if any, really, out of an emerald gem in our weapons. So stick with rubies until you get more crit hit chance later on down the line. Another reason that we want to use rubies while we are leveling our characters is, if you take a look at the description there, it says if it's slotted into a helm, you get an increased bonus of experience. Again, This is why we want to focus on upgrading our rubies, because obviously the higher the tier of ruby, the more bonus experience that we will get. So that's what you want to do for tip number 4. Make sure that you're putting a ruby in your weapon and keep a ruby in your helmet for the bonus XP. And when it comes to bonus XP, one other little extra tip: keep an eye out for the Kane's armor set. The Kane's armor set is going to give you a really nice, where is it? I know I've got it listed here. Here it is. The Kane set, when you find it, will appear as a green book on the ground, and then you can teach it to your blacksmith. And when you craft these, you need 3 of them, and then the set bonus will give you a massive amount of bonus experience. Now, even as you're pushing into level 50, 60, and stuff like that, and these will still only be like level 23, for example. Again, don't worry, we're playing on hard difficulty. You'll be breezing through the content anyway, but you'll also be getting a ton more experience through the Kane's set. Alright, last but not least, tip number 5 is going to be salvage everything. Anything that you are not using on your character, anything that isn't a statistical advantage for you or for your follower if you are playing solo, then salvage everything. You don't want to sell things to merchants because you really don't need the gold that much. You want the crafting materials though. Crafting materials are more important than ever here in patch 2.3. So whatever you have, and in this case unfortunately you can't salvage the gear that you spawn with. But for example, if I had extra weapons or armor or something like that that I'm not using on my character or not using for my follower, salvage it and keep those materials for later on. You'll be using them a lot for crafting gear and for the Kinetic cube that you'll get later on down the line. Alright, so a quick recap on the 5 tips for speed leveling for your new character. Number 1, play in adventure mode and play on hard difficulty. Number 2, do riffs and play in a group if you can, or go ahead and do some bounties if you get bored of doing riffs. Tip number 3, take your follower's weapon and use it because it's going to have a lot more power than your starting weapon, and keep pushing for more power with your character as a whole. Tip number 4, use rubies in your weapon and in your helm for bonus experience. Keep an eye out for Kane's set and try to craft that. And tip number 5, make sure that you are salvaging and not selling all the other extra gear that you're picking up while you're leveling. You'll use those materials later on when you get to 60 and beyond. Alright, so that's 5 out of the 10 tips I have for you in this video. Those 5 tips were for speed leveling a new character, for example, in a season. I'm going to switch over to my Crusader now, and we're going to talk about 5 more tips for taking advantage of all the sweet new features in patch 2.3. Alright, so tip number 6, and for patch 2.3 now we're talking about as a whole. We're going to first start off by talking about how to obtain the Kinetic cube. This is the biggest feature for patch 2.3. This changes the game in so many ways. It's going to change the way you think about how you play the game certainly as well. In order to obtain the Kinetic cube, first you're going to want to start off in town and find Zoltan Kuhl. Zoltan Kuhl can be found in any town, and talk to him. He will have a quest for you to go find the Kinetic cube. That quest is going to send you, if you check the map, to Bastion's Keep, and up here, the ruins of Secheron. I am not going to spoil for you how to get the Kinetic cube. Just go to the ruins of Secheron, explore. It's not that difficult, and you will find the Kinetic cube. Once you do, Zoltan Kuhl will pop up and talk some nonsense, and then you can come back here to town, and here will be your Kinetic cube. Also, just a little reminder about the Kinetic cube itself. Whatever you do on the Kinetic cube on one character is shared across all of your characters. So for example, if I'm using the Archive of Tal Rasha, which is an extract legendary power, then whatever powers I extract, they can be shared if my other characters qualify for it, for those powers. In other words, if I salvage a furnace, which pretty much everybody is doing for the Kinetic cube, if I salvage a furnace here on my Crusader, that power can also be used, for example, on my Barbarian, because he can also use a furnace. Classes that can't use items, for example, the Demon Hunter cannot equip a furnace, they can't use the powers either extracted. So even though I have a furnace extracted here on my Crusader, my Demon Hunters can't use it. But for the rest, pretty much anything goes. It's all shared across all of your characters. Alright, tip number 7 is going to be doing bounties. Bounties are back in a big way, and a large part of that has to do with the fact that they brought back the old crafting materials that are now being used for the Kanai Cube. Actually, if we take a look at that one more time, here on the recipe book, you can see these are the crafting materials that we need to gather in order to, for example, extract a legendary power using the Kanai Cube. And the way that you go about doing that is by doing bounties. The most efficient way that you can do bounties is make sure that you check for this label here where it says bonus. You're going to want to be in this act when you're doing bounties, clear all 5 of them, and make sure, of course, that you come back to talk to Tyrael, and he will give you not 1, but actually he will give you 2 boxes. Because it's a bonus area, you'll get a normal Horadric cache, and you'll also get a bonus cache as well. So this is going to pretty much double the number of materials that you will get from doing these bounties. And once you've cleared, for example, the high heavens with the bonus label here, as soon as you've done that, one of the other areas that isn't complete for the bounties will then sort of inherit the bonus label. So then you'll go from, for example, the high heavens when you're done with that, and maybe the bonus label says here on Bastion's Keep, then go over here and do the 5 bounties here, and you'll get, again, 2 Horadric caches. Keep in mind also that while of course you can solo these bounties by running around, and I recommend that you do kind of like when you're leveling a new character, keep the difficulty low. You want to do at least Torment 1 if you can handle it for doing bounties. If it's too much for you, then don't worry about it. Clearing speed is more important than the gold and the legendary bonus find for doing bounties. Again, the sole reason we're doing these bounties is to get the crafting materials from those bounty boxes, not necessarily for trying to find legendary items. So you want to clear these as quickly as you can. If you're doing it solo, it's gonna take you some time. If you do it in a group, however, it's much faster. What you would do, again, if you only have like even one other buddy to do bounties with, for let's say for example here in Act 4, then I would maybe go to Hell Rift level 1 and I would do this bounty, and I would send my my friend to go over here and do the Tormented Angels bounty, and we would keep splitting until all of these are done, and then we would go move on to the next bonus labeled area and split those bounties and keep repeating until all of the bounties are complete. You want to do all of these areas again, which is why splitting is so much better, because it will take you a fraction of the time than it would take you solo. Even if, again, you are soloing though, keep that difficulty level low and just burn through them as quick as you can to get these materials. You really want to make sure that you have a nice supply of these, so that way you can begin salvaging and taking advantage of the other powers from the Kanai Cube. Alright, so that was tip number 6 and 7 for the Kanai Cube. You want to go to the Ruins of Sescheron, and for the bounties, make sure that it's labeled bonus, so that way you get extra mats for the Kanai Cube. Tip number 8 is going to talk a little bit more about Riffs. Now, I kind of already spoiled this a little bit in talking about how you no longer need keys for the Nephilim Riffs. So doing normal Riffs are very easy now to access. However, I do want to reiterate something that I've already been mentioning from the other things, and that's about clearing speed. Again, just like with leveling a character fast and clearing bounties fast, you also want to clear Riffs fast. I've tried to go into Torment 10, and it's just a nightmare right now. For public games, for example, it's just too slow. Most people aren't able to handle Torment 10 yet and able to clear it very quickly. And you want to clear Riffs quickly. You want the bonus, of course, and you want a little bit maybe of a challenge, but you don't want to struggle. And that's what I see a lot of people trying to do, is they're trying to do Torment 10 and they simply can't handle it. The clearing speed is so slow, they're getting probably less legendaries from doing Torment 10 than they would by dropping down the Torment levels a couple. Notice I'm at Torment 8, and I've noticed that's because I dropped down from 10 to 8, and it's so much faster, and I'm getting at least as many legendaries, if not more, by doing Torment 8 than I would be by doing Torment 10. That is your source pretty much, I think, for obtaining the most legendaries that you can per hour is by doing Riffs, and doing them at a difficulty that you and your group or whatever can clear them at a steady and relatively non-like face into a brick wall kind of pace. For the Griffs, there's something I want to mention also. You still do need the keys in order to get into greater Riffs. However, one of the other amazing things about this patch is you no longer need to do the trials. This drop-down menu will allow you to select whatever level you have cleared up to at that point. It's not going to give you a free selection of up to level 100 Torment or anything like that, but you keep pushing for whatever the next level is, and then you'll access another level above that until you're basically just getting your ass kicked, I guess, and greater Riffs. And this is, of course, the way that you're going to go about leveling your legendary gems, which is, again, now that we don't have the trials in the way, is so much faster. There is no reason now why you shouldn't be doing greater Riffs. It's going to help you level your legendary gems really quickly. You'll also upgrade your blood shard capacity. Notice now it says 14 of 890 is the new maximum amount because of the greater rift levels that I've cleared. The more greater rift levels and the higher that you can go, it unlocks your ability to hold more blood shards, which is fantastic. I hated only having to be able to carry 500 at a time. This is a nice change that was actually before patch 2.3, but something that I thought I would make a mention of here. Alright, so that was actually 2 tips right there in that spiel that I just gave. Tip number 8 was to do Riffs and to make sure that you're doing them at a difficulty level, at a torment level, for example, that allows you and your group, if you're playing in a group, to clear more easily and not really struggle against, because you're not getting that much of a benefit from it. And tip number 9 is to do Riffs if you want to obtain legendaries, and do greater Riffs and trial list greater Riffs now to upgrade your legendary gems really fast. The 10th and final tip that I have for you guys today is save your puzzle rings and your bovine bardiche, just save these polearms, okay? These are both valuable items that you can use in the Kinetic cube. I'm not kidding, you can use the puzzle ring, for example, to open up the treasure goblin portal realm, the greed realm. You've probably seen it by now. Hopefully you've seen it. If not, then now you have a greater chance than ever to open up and explore this amazing area using a puzzle ring. It's really awesome. And also, you can use, or can you? No, wait a minute. I'm sorry. Sorry, I don't mean to spread misinformation. The cow level is a lie. You can't open and you can't find the cow level by putting this polearm into the Kinetic cube. It's not gonna work. Don't even try it. Don't even try it. That's all I have for you guys in this video for Diablo 3 and patch 2.3. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope that you have fun with patch 2.3. This is easily the most amazing patch since patch 2.0 came out, and all the changes there, and Reaper of Souls. Diablo 3 honestly is more fun than it's ever been. I want to know what you guys think now down in the comment section below, and if you have any questions about leveling or the seasons or the Kinetic cube or patch 2.3 in general, go ahead and sound off in the comment section, and either I or maybe somebody else will answer you as quickly as we can. Click the like button to support these Diablo 3 videos here on the channel. I've got build videos coming up for all the classes and other tips and highlights for action here in Diablo 3. Make sure that you're subscribed so you don't miss the next video. Thanks again for watching. My name is Kinetic, and I'll see you next time.